Welcome to episode 10 of Walking Wisdom with me, Dr. Aman Bhosle, and today we're going to be talking about a topic that directly deals with the frustration, anger, annoyance, irritation, impatience, confusion, disorientation, and sheer rage that a lot of people are experiencing because of the constant barrage of issues that we see, that we are witnessing. Either we are directly affected by them, or people we know are getting affected by these issues, or businesses are getting affected, families are getting affected. Everyone is getting affected in one way or the other. So I want to really address this common sense of fatigue and irritation. India is currently being dubbed as the epicenter of the COVID-19 pandemic, with the second mutant, now wreaking havoc. And there are shortages everywhere, in every conceivable and imaginable corner. All right, so what are we frustrated about? Let's try to understand this. Vaccine shortages of hospital beds, no remdesivir available, essential medications not being made available. A black market is opening up for oxygen cylinders. A lot of people are sitting at home. Their businesses have been completely upended. Their customer base has, moved on or is unable to access them in the right manner. So people are worried about money not coming in. Let's not forget government bashing. There is a spate of violence currently that has been unleashed in West Bengal. There is government bashing at various levels. I mean, if you go on Twitter, both sides of the argument are equally speaking with a certain tenacity, with a certain verbosity, if you may. A celebrity who shall not be named recently had her Twitter account suspended. Everyone's pissed off, everyone's frustrated. I get it. We share a common grouse against a common enemy. And as strange as that may sound, I believed that as human beings, this common frustration, this common thread of dissent will actually unite us and make us work better together. But the exact opposite is happening. Do you know why? Because everyone wants different things from this situation, and there is no such thing as universal consensus that exists on this planet. People are at cross purposes. People are at various trying junctures in their private and public lives, and that's why they're never going to sit on a table, hold hands, sing Kumbaya and say, now we have figured out how to end this crisis once and for all. Frustration begets frustration, anger further seeds anger, and these things tend to simply multiply. And as they multiply, they become more and more acute in nature. They become more and more far-reaching. They start feeling personal, but at the same time, don't forget that this is a public and this is a shared sense of dismay and a shared sense of disdain as well, hatred towards a common enemy, towards the sheer mismanagement of the situation. How underprepared were we? Were resource allocations done the right way? Were the experts listened to at the right time? Did people in power sit on their butts and do absolutely nothing when they needed to act swiftly and decisively? Will people learn to wear their masks properly and be up to the task? All these questions, all this anger, all this frustration, all this turmoil. And here's the funny thing, there is no straight answer. We're always looking for simplistic versions. We want to cluster information and look for a theme whereby one singular theme may not exist. Were we lackadaisical and lax, not just as people, but also from a government perspective? The answer is yes. But is this the first time that a government in power in India is showing how ill-prepared or how oblivious, complacent, and self-congratulatory they are? Is this the first time that this is happening? We have had scams, we have had scandals, we have had terrorists show up, we have had women brutalized, we have had money siphoned, we have had tax payments permanently deferred and missing. This means that despite the magnitude and gravity of the situation, we are no strangers in our beloved country to this kind of mismanagement, this kind of sheer ignorance. And let's not forget the callousness, people wearing their masks like this. How protected are you? It's a combination of many factors. There's not one great mustache-twirling villain to be blamed. And even though as human beings we look out for simplified logic when we are trying to bell the cat, Understand that it's not just one man in power who has caused this mess. It is an entire machinery, an entire gamut of individuals who are not being held accountable to the roles that they have been elected to fulfill. Where do you think these people have come from? Have they dropped from the moon and the stars? They have come from amidst us. They have come from among us. So we need to ask broader questions as a society, that how individually responsible are we before we just jump to conclusions and say, oh, no, this is a mess caused by the leadership. Yes, it is to some degree their responsibility, and I absolutely agree with that as a contention. But also as civilians, as citizens, as individuals, as people, part of a problem. Are we looking at the situation in a skewed way? Are we accepting our responsibility? People were out celebrating Holi. We all know what happened at the Kumbh. We all know what happened at the Bengal election rallies. I remember someone once said this to me, a very profound thing I heard when I was in school. You can't blame a cat for being a cat, or a dog for being a dog, or a zebra for being a zebra. Everyone acts in accordance to their core nature, belief systems, and most importantly, their habits. So take this entire fireball of frustration and anger that you're experiencing and don't turn it into positivity, which is what a lot of people are saying. Be positive, be positive. Oh no, you have to be positive, otherwise you will lose your mind. I want you to turn it into something else. Turn it into clarity. Turn it into an understanding of the fact that everything on this planet is multifactorial. There is more than one opinion or perspective that fuels a narrative. If there is a problem, if there is a challenge, it's not usually just caused by one person. Everyone, to some degree, is complicit in a situation completely getting out of hand. So instead of pointing fingers in anger and raising questions at everyone outside your home, know that nothing in this world happens automatically or by default, or because someone in the sky waved a little wand and said, oh, I want this to happen. We are the solution of a problem. We are also the cause of the problem. We are also the self-perpetuating design of the problem. We're also affected by the problem. So what can you control and what's within your scope? Let's try to understand this. Keep your body fit. Keep your mind creatively preoccupied. If you're feeling generous, contribute with information, with time. Sitting on WhatsApp, on Twitter, and on Instagram all day and feeling angry about the situation isn't going to change the situation, all right? Several generations before us have also had their pet peeves with the government and their frustrations with the way things are run, or with the way things are overlooked, or with how people have a devil-may-care attitude, what I refer to as the chalta hai attitude of our country. And yet their frustration hasn't been the singular force in things getting completely overhauled. No doubt that policy decisions and deadlocks can be nudged in the right direction with a little bit of angst. But if you experience this rage, the burning embers of hell in your heart, that's not going to keep you in the right frame of mind to think rationally and practically. As important as it is for us to think our way out of this, we're also going to have to work our way out of this, which means looking at our own behaviors and patterns and attitudinal predispositions and really asking ourselves the important question, is the world going to change and realign and reorganize itself just because I have an issue with the way it is? Let me save you the effort. The answer is no. No. You have a problem. You got to deal with it efficiently and effectively by identifying the right people to connect with who can help you with your problem. We understand that the claustrophobia of sitting at home is a concern. Loss of money is a concern. The loss of normalcy is a concern. The loss of personal freedoms is a concern. The loss of clarity is a concern. The loss of faith in the leadership is a concern. But a concern is simply a small starting step before change is catalyzed in any manner that can be dubbed as sustainable and sensible. As much as we feel like we need to fight our way out of this, I would suggest the alternative of planning our way out of this. We can't do it alone. We can't do it overnight. And sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between wrong and right. But know that your anger and frustration will only cripple you. If you're experiencing these emotions, don't deny them to yourself. Just let them transit through you. Do your part, play your part. don't spend your entire day arguing and getting frustrated about other people who are not playing their part, because your frustration is not going to catalyze change within them. Your angry tweet isn't going to change a human being's personality and priorities. Your rant on Instagram is not going to suddenly automatically create some kind of age of enlightenment where everyone suddenly revolutionizes the way they think and the way they've been operating for generations, all right? So I know it sounds a little dismal, but here's the practical outlook. Your opinion matters, but yet in the long run, it may not be as important to everyone else as it seems important to you. That doesn't mean you don't speak, that doesn't mean you hold your silence, but that also means you don't endlessly fester these angry thoughts within you, because they're not going to help in the long run. They're just going to tire you. The story hasn't begun, but the story hasn't ended either. The situation is adapting and evolving dynamically, so you need to figure out how you need to adapt dynamically with the situation as well, rather than succumbing to and becoming a prisoner to all this anger and frustration, which is not only affecting your peace and productivity, but also affecting your clarity and ability to judge the situation for what it is. There are many factors at play. It isn't this straightforward with any calamity that historically we have faced as human beings. You can't just bet on the winning horse and say, all right, this is what I had completely preempted or completely looked into, and every possibility played out exactly according to my plan, my wishes and my dreams. A little bit of patience and practicality and the support of our loved ones and our friends, we will find a way to tide over this crisis by that time. I assure you, this is not the end. So redirect your rage and turn the page. Is it advisable to succumb to the rage and the anger and the frustration, the shared frustration, and then really feel down in the dumps? What do you think? How's that going to affect you internally? How is that going to affect you externally? In your interactions, in your work, in how productive you are, in how clear you are, in your mood, in how you talk to people, in whom you talk to, how often you talk to them. It's all affected. It's all connected. The virus has already taken us hostage. Let's not let our frustration and anger take us hostage. Otherwise, we are in two separate hostage situations. And only you can save yourself from that. If you don't agree with some of the things I've said, that's all right. If you agree with some of the things I have said, that's all right too. As you know, I don't plan these talks. These are spontaneous talks that I do for you guys, to connect with you guys during my morning walks. So that's it from me. I hope this video has been helpful. Share it if you think it brought value to you. Don't share it if it annoyed the hell out of you. But whatever you do, be honest with yourself about the situation and act accordingly. Bye-bye.